Hello, George Randle. He is with me today, the author of The Talent War, which we're going to be talking about. And that actually might make me want to start. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people moving around the world and a lot of people coming here into this region, the Arab region, the GCC, because there are
Mhm.
promises of, development, changes, etc. Would you summarize to us what exactly is happening within human movement when it comes to talent?
Well, one of the things that we wrote about in the book that's really, really important is that talent has choices. And so, talent, where, what people want, the people that are really, really top in whatever their field is, they want to be valued and not just monetarily. They want to be able to contribute, they want to be able to impact. They want to be able to, create, drive value, and have camaraderie, cohesion, ownership, autonomy. And they're going to places where they are able to impact and are wanted and desired for their talents to be used versus being a cog in a machine or where only part of their talent is going to be used. And so I think, that area of the world is becoming a talent magnet.
Mhm.
It's offering opportunities to build and to create and to do things new. And if you're somebody that really drives on making a difference, you're just drawn to that. And I think that that's what's happening is the typical workforce or the typical location is now out the window. And people are now mobile and are going to go where they can be valued and impact.
Right. That, how about certain ideas? So, for instance, this part of the world here where I'm based out does not share some of the ideas that other parts of the world does.
Mhm.
Does that play a role anymore in where people want to live? For instance, in the United States, there is a value of a certain kind of a freedom that perhaps some would argue is not here. Does that matter anymore? Or people generally just care about their existence within the corporate world versus everything else?
Well, I think it certainly matters to some. You can't say that it doesn't make a difference. But I think what people are waking up to, and as much as there's a downside to social media, there's a definite upside to the connectivity that we have nowadays. And so people now can see what other cultures are like in real time. And so I think those barriers are coming down, or mindsets are changing to where people say, hey, now I can impact. I think if anything that holds people back from going to another country anywhere in the world are roots and family. I think those are the things that probably hold up top talent more than anything else versus necessarily the freedoms. I've had a number of friends and colleagues who have worked in the Middle East region and Africa, and they absolutely love it. And they don't feel constrained. They're in an environment with people and they just love it.
Right. How do you look at a talent and say, you're a top talent. You need to go there. You're good. How do you assess that?
Well, I do it a number of ways.
Right.
I have my methodologies, but one of the things is that I tell companies you have to have a process because you can't see talent.
Right.
Now, in my particular case, the number of people that my teams that I've built have hired is over 85,000 in 75 countries. And the minute that I think I can see talent go, oh yeah, that's it. I always get in trouble. It's just called Murphy's Law. I get in trouble. So I help teach companies that you need to have a process that reveals it, behavioral interviewing, assessment tools. So you understand that even some of the least talented people can get through an interview successfully, but what is their DNA? And will they be successful in this environment? And I would also say, just kind of as a side note, I teach companies to define what success looks like in their environment, because not all environments are the same. Not all a talent should go to one particular company if it doesn't fit there. So I tell companies make sure that you define success and
Mhm.
understand what your top performers look like, and then have a process to look at people and see if they match up with your top performers and have the same DNA, the same drive and resiliency that you may need in your firm.
How can they win the right talent over others? How can a company or a country attract the right talent?
Well, first of all, as much as there's a big misnomer out there that compensation is the number one way to do it. Compensation is part of the equation, and if you're paying low money, you're just not going to get the talent. You have to be competitive. But what we found out when we wrote the book was what people really want is ownership. They want great leadership, number
Right.
one. They want the ability to grow. They want the ability to advance their career and their station in life, to be creative, and certainly to be valued. And so the companies that can articulate how they will make somebody's professional life better are the ones that are going to win that talent. Compensation is a part, but a lot of companies are like, oh, I'm just going to pay you a lot of money to come here. That's not always going to get it. Matter of fact, rarely will it, because people want to know the intangibles. What does the team look like? How will my career progress? What opportunities will I be exposed to? What new things can I learn, and how can I grow my competencies and my capabilities? If a company can articulate that successfully, you will win top talent.
Right. What if they don't? What's going to happen to them? Are they going to have mediocre talent, if that's something we could actually say? Are they going to run
Yes.
out of business?
Yeah, actually, one of the things in some speeches that I give is I explain to people that the one true competitive advantage that you can hope to achieve and maintain are your people, is your talent. And so if you don't have processes, if you don't place a huge value, or if you don't have what I call a talent mindset to be looking for the best and brightest to advance your company, and you're treating it like, excuse the phrase, but a butt in a seat, which a lot of companies do. Hey, I've just got to fill this position. If that's your mindset, yeah, you are going to end up with, a lesser grade of talent. You're going to end up with people who aren't driven, who aren't resilient, who are there for a paycheck, that, they're simply there for the job, versus somebody who really wants to make a difference, wherever they go. There's that element of DNA in people that in top talent, that wherever you plop them down, they're driven to make a difference and to leave the place better if they have to leave than when they found it when they go.
Right. Um, I don't know if it's, I think you mentioned in the book that the
Mhm.
US Special operations community actually does the best in winning the talent. Am I correct?
We have found that to be true, because companies, with the onset of, the internet and the rise of, the digital space, and the older generation starting to retire, companies that are on the innovative and digital side, the internet side, IT side, however you want to categorize it, realize that they now have to create different culture, within their firms, to win, and to win the best talent. They had to recognize that the talent is there. The talent wants something in exchange for their
Mhm.
contributions. And it's not just about the company. And I think that a lot of companies that innovated out of Silicon Valley, out of California, Texas, Florida, they've all led the way in that. And then that's starting to spread, though. That's what's really interesting, is that's really starting to spread across the world.
And you're calling it a mindset, basically. These companies have a talent mindset.
Yes, a talent mindset are the firms that truly know that it doesn't matter whether it's a product, a service, it doesn't matter what you do. All of those things in the marketplace will change. The one thing that you can have that gives you the advantage is a talent mindset, knowing that whatever comes your way, if you have the best talent, you're going to win and survive and thrive.
Right. What if I don't have the means to hire the best talent? How can I develop what I have now?
Well, I go back to this adage when I'm talking, or giving speeches, which is when people leave a company, they rarely, I mean, sometimes they leave for money, sometimes they leave for other things. But the biggest reason that people leave companies is bad leadership.
Right.
And so, where you should pour your money into, if you don't have the financial means to be attracting the best talent, or you don't have the best workspace, we can't all be Google and Facebook and offer, 5-star dining downstairs at your breaks, and wine bars, etc. But if you have great leaders, people want to work for great bosses. They just do because they know that they will be better over the long term, whether they're at that firm or otherwise. So if a company can't attract, the best talent through compensation and other things, the one thing you need to invest in is absolutely your leadership, teaching them to be better leaders, more empathetic, more authentic, and more empowering, and building coaches and mentors, and what I call building a legacy of leadership within your company. And then people will stay. And then people eventually will become attracted to it because they will say, look, yeah, that company pays more, but this boss over here, I'm going to learn more under her than I'm going to learn anywhere else. And I'm going to go there.
Right. Yeah. I've certainly have done that before.
Yeah.
Where you just want to work with someone or for someone who's actually going to invest their time in developing your talent, and that pays off later. Um, so my final question would be, who do you think would win the talent war?
Who do I think? You mean country, company, or?
Country. I mean, the reason why I'm asking this is because at the moment everyone is talking about AI, and
Yeah,
countries are actually trying as much as they can to get that AI talent, which is very rare.
it
Uh,
is. It is. Who do I think's going to win? I think the countries in the Middle East are coming on very fast and very, very strong,
right.
and they're investing in their leadership. They're investing in their talent. Um, I think it's still a battle with Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
and the talent coming out of California. But unfortunately, some of the situations in the U.S., be they political and condition wise, are forcing, or not forcing, but I would say opening people's eyes to the opportunities in the areas that weren't previously known as a magnet for talent. And the people that are going to win are the people that invest in leadership. And I see that going on in the Middle Eastern countries all the time. They're saying, look, we're going to do what it takes to lead the way. We are going to be the best. And you're seeing that talent mindset that whatever it takes, whatever we need to do, we know that we can get the best talent because we
Right.
want to lead the pack. And so that's where it's going to be a while, and it's going to be a back and forth battle, but it's starting to even out. And as much as the US has been a talent magnet, it's starting to globalize at a much faster pace.
Right. I mean, growing up, the US was the go-to place. Everybody wanted to go there. And
Mhm.
I don't know if there was any statistics that shows that, maybe not the whole world wants to go there anymore. Maybe they actually would like to go other places, It's not just the US anymore.
Yeah, it's not, but I think one of the things that, California, Silicon Valley did very, very well is they became an incubator for
Right.
talent, creating that freedom. And then from there, as they say, birds left the nest and they
Mhm.
could go places. So I think people came here for the innovation, the creativity and the freedom to do those things. And then now they pick up and they take those talents and start creating incubators of their own.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you see going on, in up and coming countries.
Right. Lovely. Well, George, thank you very much for your time. Is there anything else you would like to add, actually?
If I told companies, I give them usually three pieces of advice when I consult. If you're a hiring manager, you're a boss. Number one, be the boss that you would work for. And then the most important thing is treat your human capital with the same discipline, rigor, and focus that you do your financial capital, and you will win. And most companies think of their talent and their people after the sales, after the product development, after all of those things, not understanding that the excellence is in the people, not the product.
Right. Thank you very much, George, for your time, and hopefully have a great day.
Thank you so much.